Good morning, everybody. Okay, so at the beginning, everybody cultivate compassion towards all sentient beings. So when we generate pure compassion towards all sentient beings, then our mind, become very close to all sentient beings. When our mind, becomes very close to all sentient beings, then we can feel it, their sufferings. Therefore, we wish all sentient beings free from suffering. As well, wish all sentient beings be happy forever, wish to achieve the ultimate happiness. Achieving ultimate happiness must depend on two causes. One, bodhicitta. Second, the wisdom which is realize emptiness. Therefore, first cultivate bodhicitta caused by great compassion. Bodhicitta is one of the very important cause to achieve Buddhahood, but second important cause, we need to practice the wisdom which is realize emptiness. Therefore, everybody just think everything perceived to us as a independent phenomena. When we look at any phenomena, everything look like exist independently, inherently. In the reality, nothing can be exist inherently, independently, because all phenomena are dependently arise independently. Therefore, please meditate on emptiness, empty of inherent existence, empty of independent existence. So when we think about emptiness of any phenomena, it is look like for us. When you look at the sky, you can see there's different colors of clouds, different shapes of clouds. Also, we can see beautiful rainbow. When you look more closely, when you go close to the clouds, finally, you cannot find the solid clouds, solid rainbow. When you go more, closer, all the way to the clouds and rainbow, then you cannot see the rainbow, you cannot see the clouds. Then you go furthermore, finally, you can see just the blue sky. When you look at the blue sky, there's no such as different shape, color, size. Wherever you look at the sky, any part of sky for you can see is exactly the same. Therefore, when we look at the conventional phenomena, like the sound, form, smell, taste, tactility, it's a different color, different shape, different form. Due to that reason, so we have a attachment towards the beautiful object. So we have a sense of hatred, sense of anger, sense of unhappiness towards the ugly form. When you compare the truth nature of two phenomena, there's no difference. Therefore, when we meditate emptiness, for us, we need to think in the emptiness level, from the point of view of the truth nature, all phenomena has the same nature. So far, we have a lot of confusion. We have a lot of, different ideas because we don't understand all phenomena from their point of view, from the nature, the emptiness, everything is same. So this is a beginning, how we should have motivation. Okay, so today, so we just read from the beginning until the 1.9. I pay homage to Gentle Lord Manjushri. Charvakas and middle-level Buddhas arise from Severjan sages. Buddhas are born from Bodhisattvas. The compassionate mind and non-dual cognition, as well the awakening mind, they are cause of Bodhisattva. As compassion alone is accepted to be the seed of perfect harvest of Buddhahood, the water that nourishes it, the fruit that is alone a source of enjoyment. I will praise compassion at the start of all. First, with the thought, I am, they cling to a self. Then, with the thought, mine, they become attached to things. Like buckets on the water wheel, they turn without control. I bow to the compassion that cares for such a suffering beings. Beings are like reflection of the moon in rippling water. Seeing them as fleeting and as a devoid from intrinsic nature. The Bodhisattva's mind falls under the compassion sway. yearning to set free every transmigrating beings. Through intense dedication with Samandabhadra's prayers, he means the Bodhisattva who already reached to the first bhumi. He abide in perfect joy. Because first time the Bodhisattva sees emptiness by see emptiness directly, so very joy. This is called the first groan. That means the first time the Bodhisattva reached to the seeing path, first groan. The first time the Aryat, Mahayana Aryat state. From that point on, having attained this groan, he is held by the name Bodhisattva alone. This is, ultimate Bodhisattva. Then he is born into the lineage of the Tathagatas as well. Since the Bodhisattva, since he reached to the seeing path, then the Bodhisattva, definitely, he goes all the way to the Buddhahood, who never return to the other paths. He never, remained in samsara by afflictive emotions, by karma. That means he got, he got very solid conviction for becoming Buddha. Therefore, he is born into the lineage of the Tathagatas as well. He has utterly approached the three bounding factors. The three bounding factors, the ignorance has two kinds. One is the innate ignorance. All sentient beings have innate ignorance. Second is the ignorance arises based on tenets, based on different religious system. So the Bodhisattva who reached to the first bhumi, he totally eliminates the self-grasping which is established, which arises by the non-Buddhist school. One, the ignorance. Second is the afflictive doubt. The third is the wrong kind of ethical discipline. So they eliminated three bonding factors, such as Bodhisattva uphold the state of supreme joy and has the power to shake 100 walls. Stepping on from one ground to another, since the Bodhisattva reached to seeing path, then continuously he going to step, the next ground without, stopping another. And he travels perfectly to higher one, first bhumi to second to third, all the way to 10th, then will become Buddha. At that point, the path to all lower realms are blocked for him. Since reached to the seeing paths, since able to perceive emptiness directly, the practitioner never born in lower realms by karma, by emotions, because he totally surprised the ignorance and attachment and desire. Therefore, here you can see all lower realms are blocked for him. At that point, all the grown of ordinary person cease for him, because he is no more ordinary beings. Ordinary and supreme ordinary differentiate based on how they perceive emptiness. They just perceive emptiness by conceptual mind that the being is because ordinary being. The practitioner, when he or she received emptiness by the direct perception, that we name he or she is a supreme ordinary, beyond the ordinary being. Therefore, here, such as Bodhisattva, at that point, all the grown of ordinary persons cease for him. He is described clearly in terms akin to the eight arahat. Even when the abiding on the first ground of the mind for full awakening, he surprised. He, the Bodhisattva, surprised those born from the sage, speech, and the Pratika Buddha. That means the Bodhisattva, since he reached to the seeing paths, he can surprise the hearer and solitary realizer. The hearer, like the sage, born from the sage's speech. The middle Buddha, the Pratika Buddha. Surprised through what? Through the power of his merit, not through his intelligence. Because the Bodhisattva who reached to the seeing path, he perceived emptiness directly. Also, the Hinayan Arya, who reached to the seeing path, he or she also perceived emptiness through direct perception. From how they perceive the emptiness, there's no differences Bodhisattva and the hearer and solitary realizer. When you look at the point of view from the merit, then the Bodhisattva has a more powerful merit than the Hinayan who reached to the seeing path. Therefore, he surprised those born from the sage, speech, and the Pratika Buddhas through the power of his merit. And his merit increased evermore. Since has the bodhicitta perceived emptiness directly, doesn't matter the Bodhisattva engaged into practice or not, the merit always increase because of he or she has a bodhicitta, he or she perceive emptiness directly. Then the merit increase continuously without stopping. Yes, therefore, surprise through the power of his merit, and his merit increase ever more. When had gone affair, that means the seven bhumi. When the Bodhisattva reached to the seven bhumi, the gone afar is the name of the seven bhumi. When at when the Bodhisattva reached to the eighth, gone afar, then the Bodhisattva will also surprise them. Them refer to the sage, which is born from Buddha's speech, and the particular Buddha. Surprise them by his intelligence. So when you compare the Arhat, the Hinayan Arya, who perceive emptiness by direct perception, with the Bodhisattva who reached to the seven bhumi, when you compare their intelligence, which is perceived emptiness, you cannot compare. Because the Bodhisattva who already reached, accomplished the seven bhumi, he or she meditate on emptiness first moment, second moment, able to arise. Meditate, able to arise. Meditate, arise. He or she has, become very trained how to meditate on emptiness, how to arouse from the meditation. Here, when they meditate on emptiness, the he or she remained at the bliss state for long time. It's not easy to arouse from the meditation state. He totally absorbed. Bodhisattva who reached to the seven bhumi, he or she is a very trained, very easy to meditate and arouse from meditation state. Therefore, when at the going afar, he will also surpass them his intelligence by the wisdom which realizes emptiness. And that at this point, 1.9, the first cause of full awakening, the perfection of generosity. So, first bhumi has a very unique, characteristic about practicing generosity. He or she also practiced the rest of the other perfection. He was become very unique about, practicing generosity. He or she also practiced ethical discipline. But ethical discipline is not that pure. So he or she become, fully master about practicing generosity. Therefore, at this point of the first course of full awakening, the perfection of generosity is the most important cause. They will become committed to giving away even his very flesh. Because one reason, he perceived emptiness by direct perception. Therefore, for him, for the Bodhisattva who reached to the first bhumi, for the Bodhisattva, everything looks like illusion. Everything looks like dreaming. Somebody asks to give all belongings. For him, happily give all belongings. Not all belongings include his flesh, bone. For him, everything looks like dreaming, illusion. Therefore, committed to giving away even his very flesh. Giving become a sign to infer his unseen qualities. So he got very special kind of unique the mental power to give away his own flesh and bone. Therefore, there's a very particular sign the practitioner reached to the first bhumi. Next is the next 110, 111, the two sentence talk about the result of the generosity in the samsaric level, in the samsaric result. All living beings eagerly yearn for happiness, right? All living beings, even though insect, fish, cow, who has a feeling? The sentient being who has a feeling, everybody eagerly yearn for happiness. Therefore, the happiness is the, I think, goal to achieve for everybody. Whether you are very poor, he or she also wish to achieve happiness. You are a super rich person, still you are looking happiness. Even though you are a butcher, every day you killed, animals, fish and chicken and cow, he or she also try to achieve happiness, always want to be happiness. Someone drink, Perry, why are you sending photo? Okay, therefore, even though somebody, use drug, smoking, alcohol, because for happiness. Therefore, all living beings eagerly yearn for happiness. Yet, for humans, there's no happiness without resources. In the samsaric happiness is 100% depend on resources. So when you go beyond the samsara, when you become super ordinary beings, then your happiness not much depend on the resources like a house, food, clothes, money, friends. They can be very happy without anything, because they know how to produce happiness by only mind. Until became the supreme ordinary, our happiness very much depend on resources like food, clothes, shelter, friends, weather, medicine, very much depend on the resources. The material resources in turn come about from generosity. Knowing this, the Bodhisattva, knowing this, the Buddha spoke on generosity first. Therefore, Buddha give a teaching to the ordinary person who are in samsara. Therefore, Buddha's first time, first he talked about generosity. Among the practice, first you practice generosity. Because if you be generous person, then next life you can have a good resources. Also, if you be generous when you are young, you can have a good resources in your late lifetime. Because here, please everybody remember, when the karma we accumulated, the result can be repent in this lifetime, can be repent for next life, can be repent after next life. Therefore, yet for humans, there's no happiness without resources. The material resources in turn come about from generosity. Therefore, most of you live in Singapore. I was born in Himalaya. I grew up in India. If I compare your life, I know some of you live in Europe. If I compare your lifestyle, and most people who was born in India, like Himalaya, all of you are very, very, very fortunate. You have all the good resources. You have a nice house. You have a, good, nice clothes. You always eat healthy food. Always try to drink healthy drink. So you are so lucky to have all the good resources. All the good resources you have is not come from causeless. It not just come from the wrong causes and condition. It's come from cause, the perfect cause, which is in your past life. Or maybe when you are young, maybe you practice generosity. Therefore, you have the good resources. This is the come about from generosity. Knowing this, the Buddha spoke on generosity first. That means it's very important. Knowing this means Buddha knows very well. Because Buddha can seize all the resources we have actually is come from generosity. Here we can see very easily, for example, some of your friends want to increase their wealth. They try to have a more money, bigger house, expensive car. They really have been trying for many, many, many years. But they cannot have big house, more expensive car, more money. They put a lot of effort because they don't have the karma. They don't have the condition to have better resources. Because in the previous life or when they were young, they didn't practice the generosity very well. Therefore, knowing this, the Buddha spoke on generosity first. That means if you're a generous person, if you practice generosity without wisdom, without bodhicitta, you can have the samsaric resources. You can have a samsaric happiness. Right? Therefore, number 1 and 10 is talk about how we can have the happiness in samsara. Second also, 1:11, those with weak compassion, and the rootless mind. Also, who seek their own welfare with the enthusiasm. Even for them, the well they desire will come from generosity, a cause that relieve the sufferings. So you can see the weak, compassionate person. I mean, somebody doesn't have a compassion except their families. They have a very weak compassion, but the person can have a lot of material resources. This also come from generosity. Rootless, you can see somebody is a very bad person. They cheat society, they cheat family, they cheat friends, but they are very rich. Yes, he or she is rich. He has a lot of material things. Is come from generosity. He or she practiced in the past. The rootless mind person. also who seek their own welfare with enthusiasm. I mean, they think only me. I want happiness. I don't care anybody. He or she always focus on only his own welfare. They don't have a great compassion. Still, he can have a lot of material things. It's also come from their previous life. Generosity. Even for them, the wealth they desire will come from generosity. The wealth they desire also will come from generosity and cause the relief sufferings. If you have a, very weak compassion, even though if you gives away something for someone, you don't have a great compassion, but you can have a good resource in future. Also, if you give something by your rootless mind, also you can have a good result. If you give something away based on your own happiness, also you can have the good resources in the past. So in the future, that means who are with compassion, he or she can be very rich. He or she become rich because result of generosity. He has a weak mind. Within the weak mind, if the person gives something to someone, also can have a good result. You have to think, the both sides. Weak person can be rich because in previous life, he or she practiced generosity. The weak compassion person can give away something to someone, also he can have a good resources in the future. And also the rootless person can be rich if he practices generosity with a rootless mind. Give away, he or she can have a good result in next life. Therefore, you can see this sentence, desire the wealth their desire will come from generosity, cut. Then a cause, the relief sufferings. Then next, 112 is talk about the result of generosity beyond the ordinary, beyond the samsara. Indeed, it is through the practice of generosity that he will swiftly, as some count, meet the Aryas. So the person who are, beyond the ordinary being, supreme ordinary, when he or she practice generosity, then he will swiftly, at some point, meet the Aryas. Not only that, he will then clean the continuum of cycle existence, and as a result, he will journey to the state of the peace. So, the practitioner who practice generosity, let's say the practitioner who are at the first bhumi, result of generosity, he or she can meet Aryas very swiftly. Not only that, he will then clean the continuum of cycle existence. And as a result, he will journey to the state of the peace, mean like the Buddhahood. So practicing generosity is very important while you are remaining in samsara. Also, it's very important while you are on the journey to the Buddhahood. Next sentence. So what is the unique result of practicing generosity for the Bodhisattva? There's 113. Those who keep in mind their pledge, their promise to have sentient beings without much delay attain joy through their generosity. Since it is for the both the compassionate and one who is not, the discourse to the generosity is a primary. So, if you are a compassionate person, if you are a Bodhisattva, also practicing generosity is very important, the first two lines. And second, since for the both compassionate and the one who is not, this discourse, that's teaching about practicing generosity is important for both of them. So you can see this last two sentences. Since it is both the compassionate and not who is not, the discourse on generosity is primary. The next sentence is telling how Bodhisattva feel when somebody asks, asking something, how Bodhisattva feel. If simply hearing of or thinking of phrase of giving me, right? If the Bodhisattva here, somebody says, give me something, just hearing the voice from someone asking, giving something, not even though without hearing, when he or she think, giving something to someone, brings such a joy to the children of the concourse. If some simply hearing or thinking of the phrase "give me" brings such a joy to the children of the concourse. So for us, somebody asks, give me something, we feel very unhappy. We feel very angry. Because, why? Because we clinging very strongly. We attach too strongly. We so tied our mind with our belongings. For example, you have a $10. Somebody asks you to give me $1. You feel unhappy because you know if you give away $1, your money becomes less. When you share your property with someone, you know your property becomes smaller. Then you become very unhappy because you are not sure the result of generosity. So Bodhisattva, they are very sure. They have a very strong conviction about result of giving away. They feel so happy. Wow, this is a very good opportunity for me to give away. It is a good opportunity for me to practicing generosity. Then I can be Buddha more swift, more faster. Therefore, if simply hearing or thinking of the phrase, give me, brings such a joy to the children of the concord, is synonymous Bodhisattva. I think some of you may be very new. We say, children of concourse, not physical child. All the Bodhisattvas, we name child of Buddhas, child of the concord. All the Bodhisattvas, not physically child of the Buddha, but mentally, all Bodhisattvas look like Buddha's child. Because as I think parents, also we can see when the child is very, very naughty, very bad like child, then the parents, the mom or father say, oh, you're not my son, you're not my daughter. They totally give up the sense of compassion. Then the naughty children, one day, have done good job. Then the parents say, oh, you are my child. So therefore, for the Buddha, any Buddha, Buddha Shakyamuni, Manjushri, Amida Buddha, their mind is very close to Bodhisattva because they follow the right paths. They always practice, their teaching. So Buddha said, practice compassion. Bodhisattva, practice compassion. Buddha said, should not be self-centered person, self-centered attitude person. Then the hearer, solitary realizer like us, we always have a self-centered attitude. Therefore, Buddha said, you are not my child. All the Bodhisattvas are my child because they follow exactly what Buddha said. Therefore, child of the concord, joy not experienced even by the arhats who enter into the peace. So here the joy not experienced even by the arhat, the hearer and solitary realizer arhat who enter into the nirvana. Who enter into nirvana means who already achieved the nirvana. The first time when they achieve nirvana, liberation, they have a great of joyness, very great joyness. When they remain in this, the joy state, the bliss state, they feel so joy. If you compare the joyness of the Bodhisattva who, who hear the voice say, give me, the Bodhisattva has a great joyness. The Arya who enter into nirvana, he or she has a sense of joy. If you compare these two joyness, the Bodhisattva joyness is much greater. Therefore you say, joy not experienced even by the arhats who enter into the peace. What need is there to speak of the joy when give away everything? Even though when they hear the voice, give me, the Bodhisattva feels so joyous, so happy. Then of course, when they're really giving things actually, they have more joy. Therefore, when they give their flesh and bones, they feel so happy, they feel so joy, because they know it's giving away the flesh, giving away the things can be perfect cause to achieve Buddhahood. Also, it's become more powerful practice to become a Buddha. What need is there to speak of the joy when giving away everything? The next sentence, 1 and 15 is kind of discussing. So for us, when somebody asks our flesh, first we don't want to give, because not the attachment. Yes, somebody have a attachment, so oh, my body is so perfect, my body is so beautiful, I don't want to cut any flesh from my body, attachment. But most of us who are over 50 or 60, I don't think we have that kind of attachment about our flesh or bones. We are okay to give away our bone and flesh, but we don't want to give, because when they cut, we cannot bear the suffering. We are very worried about the suffering. We are not worried because we have attachment. No, we cannot bear the sufferings. So what about Bodhisattva? Here, then look at. Please read the sentence very carefully. Cutting his body and give it away, he sees from his own pain the pain of others, such as their birth in the hells, as if he was undergoing this situation himself. Thus swiftly stopped to cut away all their pains. So cutting his body and giving it away, he sees from his own pain the pain of others. So somebody cut the Bodhisattva flesh, he can experience the suffering. Of course, he has a feeling. When somebody cut, he can feel the suffering, but he never have a sense of unhappiness. So therefore, when somebody cut, his or her flesh, or break the bone, he can feel the pain and suffering. That's why he was thinking, he's taking all suffering from all sentient beings. Therefore, cutting his body and giving it away, he sees from his own pain the pain of others. So somebody cut the flesh, he never thinking, this is my suffering. He can see this is suffering of all sentient beings I'm experiencing. Such as their birth in the hells. And also that time he was imagining, at this moment, I'm in the hell beings. The suffering which I'm experiencing right now is nothing. For example, when we go into, I think, the steam bath, right? We feel so hot. You cannot enter in the sauna, like a sauna room, it's so hot. That moment, if you just imagine, the hot suffering in the hell being, if you compare, then you can reduce the suffering which is you are experiencing in the sauna. So compare these two, the hotness you are experiencing is nothing. Therefore, they can reduce their suffering. First, taking all suffering from all sentient beings, include the health. Yes, if he were undergoing this situation himself, thus swiftly he stopped to cut away all their pains. Not only that, generosity devoid of the gift, receiver and giver, right? Giver, it called superabundance perfections. Generosity devoid from the gift, receiver and giver. For example, let's say this is a very expensive mala. Actually say, it is very expensive mala. Somebody asks me to give it to someone. Somebody asking this mala. Then if if I'm thinking this is very expensive, it costs a lot of money, then I don't want to give because I'm looking from the value side. It's very expensive. I'm not thinking how much it is expensive. I'm thinking, yes, the mala, which I'm going to give to the person, this mala is devoted, which is empty of inherent existence. I am also empty of inherent existence. The receiver who received the mala, the person also empty of inherent existence. For them, everything looks like delusion. Based on knowing everything is delusion, me, the thing who going to receive, then for you very easy to give away because no attachment. Therefore, generosity devoid of the gift, receiver and giver, it called supermundane perfection. But when attachment for these three arise, when you're giving things to someone with the attachment, the giver, attachment, the thing going to give, attachment towards the who going to receive, the recipient, then it is then said to be the mundane perfections. Therefore, until now, all our practice is a mundane practice. The generosity, ethical discipline, passion, everything we have been practicing only the mundane level. So we need to switch the idea. Everything must practice based on knowing as an emptiness. Then it become supermundane perfections. The next sentence is a kind of the quality of the first bhumi. It's kind of is a kind of summary. Also, what is the first bhumi look like? The quality. Abiding perfectly in the Bodhisattva's mind and endowed with the light, beautifying the sublime ones. This ground of perfection joy is the water crystal gem. This means moon. Water crystal gem is the name of the moon. Because crystal is so clean, the moon is so clean. When you take a shower, you feel cooling. When you stay under the moon, you feel cool. Therefore, the ground of perfect joy is the water crystal gem, the moon, which is dispel the all darkness and range victorious. So this is talking about the quality of the first bhumi. So today we can stop here. So we complete about the first bhumi. So when you have free time, please go through the sentence, read in a sentence and think about the meaning. Okay? First bhumi. Next, we start the second bhumi, the bhumi about ethical discipline. It's the stainless. The first bhumi, the first ground, perfect joy. The second ground is stainless. Pure, very, very pure ethical discipline. Okay, so we can stop here as the intermediate ways. So we can have the question and answer.
Sheila,
yes.
The first question is from Sister Mayen. I will unmute Sister Mayen now.
Okay, please.
Hi, Geshe.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very well. Thank you.
Geshe, just give me a moment.
Okay.
Geshe, last week we discussed about how impermanent phenomena is also lack of inherent existence. So I would like to further understand whether the understanding, my understanding of it, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at that, when we analyze the phenomenon, we can actually look at, for conditional phenomenon, we can actually look at it from a moment in time, that it is lack of singleness, that all phenomenon is with parts. And we can also look at it from the arising process, from its cause and condition.
Mm-hmm.
So whether we look at from these two ways, from wholes and parts, or whether from cause and effect, if they are inherently existent, if the whole and parts or the cause and effect is inherently existent, then we cannot establish whether they are inherently one or inherently different from the object side. So with this in mind, we say that the phenomenon do not exist intrinsically. So that is how I look at how conditional phenomenon is lack of intrinsic existence. But the thing is that having done this, right, there's still this feeling that the phenomenon is not 100% from the mind. Because the imputation of that phenomenon is still dependent on something that is operating, this cause and effect that seems to be still operating whether the mind is there or not.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's only the perceiving of that operation, of that operating of cause and effect, that perceiving is by the mind. But it seems that that operation itself, it still operates whether the mind is there or not. So I'm sort of...
I understand. Thank you so much for asking this question. Yes, when we look at the conditioned phenomena, everybody realize the gross level of impermanence, right? Because arise, remain, and cease. We can see everything is changing. But for us, most of average people, for the average people, everything changing gradually. So this is a gross impermanence. So when we think about, when we look at the conditioned phenomenon, we need to know things are changing, not gradually. Okay, not gradually. Things are changing very short moment. Very short moment. Then the conditioned phenomena have been changing momentarily because of depend on causes and condition. This one I think everybody know, but the subtle impermanence come being to exist because of their own causes and condition. That means any of the conditioned phenomena arise from its own causes condition, also change by its own causes condition. That means it arise, also is change. There's no two separate condition. One condition arise, one condition cease the condition phenomena. Clear? The cause which is arise the condition phenomena also cause to cease the condition phenomena. So when you understood the subtle impermanence, yes, then you fully understood the condition phenomena is not the permanent, is changing momentarily. Still, it doesn't mean the person understood the partless, empty of or lacking of the partless. Still the person can, think, believe, yet it is impermanent, changing momentarily, but it can be partless time. partless consciousness, partless form. Second, you need to negate the partless consciousness, partless time, the partless physical, partless form. Then let's say you fully understood the subtle impermanence. You fully understood, the part lacking of the partless. All phenomena has a parts, but still the person can believe the things, the condition or unconditioned phenomena still can be exist inherently. Right now, I think here what you have a confusion. The phenomena functioning or not functioning is not depend on our mind, not depend on our thoughts. Whether is there the human being or not, whether they are sentient being or not, the conditioned phenomena always function. The function is always there. For example, if there's a sun, there's a hotness. If there's a wind, there's a movement. The movement, all the conditioned phenomena always functioning without we label. Then second, let's say, cup. The phenomena is cup or not. How the thing we establish as a cup. There's a phenomena, then we pose it as a cup because of our perception. Therefore, the phenomena is cup or not. The phenomena, human or non-human, car or bus, it depends on our thoughts. The phenomena has a function or not, it not depend on our thought. Therefore, whether Buddha said, whether there's a Buddha or not, the emptiness is always there. If the emptiness is always there, the basis of emptiness is always there. So, we perceive as a cup. We say this is cup, this is not a cup. It depends on our human perception. The cup hold water. It's not our perception. The cup has actually hold the water. But before we name give a name to the cup, it wasn't a cup. It was a phenomena. It was a thing. It is a function to hold water. So functioning is not depend. We cannot control the functioning. The function is always there. Therefore, I think you need to differentiate between how we establish the phenomena, how the phenomena function is different. Whether we name or input it or uninput it, the phenomena is there. There's a functioning. So therefore you need to differentiate. So my conclusion for you, first, the person must realize the gross impermanent, then subtle impermanent. In order to realize subtle impermanence, the person must need to know there's no two different causes which is produce the conditioned phenomena, other cease, change the conditioned phenomena. No. One causes condition, produce the condition, the result, produce the result, also change the result. Then you fully understood the subtle impermanent. It doesn't mean the person realized the partless phenomena. Partless phenomenon. Then second, they have to know, yes, there's no such a phenomena which exists as a partless. Yes, third, then the person must realize everything appeared to us, me, whatever perceived to me, it depends on my perception, depends on my thought, depends on somebody's thoughts. Otherwise, without perception, without naming, we cannot really communicate. Therefore, the conditioned phenomenon has a function. The function is not labeled by our name. Is function there, naturally there. Then there is a function, then we name cup, spoon, like house. These are mainly our labels. Clear? Okay. So, do you have a more want to say? You can unmute, please.
Sister Mayan, you can. Sister Mayan.
Kashila, sorry, it gets unmute just now. Can I, just to check if my understanding is correct, is that though whatever that comes to our mind is definitely 100% imputed by our mind through our labeling, through name and thought. But the functioning itself, that part, as you said, is there. It is functioning.
Is there, but is there not as an inherent. Because it's functioning due to different causes and conditions, different factors. Without depend on any cause and condition, if the phenomena has a functioning, then we can say, yes, this phenomena exists inherently.
So the understanding from the functioning side of the object is that it doesn't function by its own power. It functions through to causes and condition. So it's not actually from the point that it is.
Because if you just say causing condition, it cover only the condition phenomena.
Right.
So when you say depend on causes condition, the causes condition, we are not really talking the actual seat and kind of primary and secondary.
Right.
Causes condition is a dependent origination. It must cover permanent and impermanent.
Right. So if we are just looking at impermanent phenomena, which is the conditional phenomena, if we are just looking from that point of view first, then that functioning, in a sense, that functioning has nothing to do with labeling. I mean, the labeling of mind is required to understand the functioning, the presence of changes. But the functioning itself.
Also, again, look at here. Another, I think we have a problem. When you say functioning, who established the concept of functioning?
Me, the mind.
Our human, right?
Yes.
So without human perception, then there's no such as functioning. Without human perception, there's no such as concept of permanent, impermanent.
Right.
In the reality, something exists, permanently, something exists impermanently. We say this is a permanent phenomena is our levels. This is impermanent also our level in order to communicate.
Right.
You have to give a name.
Right.
Yeah.
But is it correct to say that for impermanent phenomena, that functioning is independent of our mind, that there is a portion of that that's independent of our mind, though the understanding of that is by mind, but there's a portion that functions, that operates independent of our mind. Is that understanding?
Not really. I give you an example. Let's say you saw there's 5 people as a group. Then it's just 5 people. Then so you need to communicate with the person. Then you say, oh, you are Li, you are Huang, you are so. First you give a name.
Right.
Then when you call Huang, one person come, other won't come. Right? Therefore, look at in the samsara, we need to communicate. Therefore, we label, we name, we have a naming. The person become Wang, Li, not from the person's side. before we name, one person can be Huang, can be Li, can be Tut, whatever. Since we name, then the person thinks I'm Li. Also for us, the Li exists from their side. We forget I name as a Li. Therefore, when we speak something, it's based on our own perception, based on human perception. For example, we say this is water, right? For example, we say water. If you bring this water to the other planets, if you say this is water, they are not ready to accept, they don't understand. Then you need to forget your perception about this is water. Then when you reach to the other planets, then you must have another name. So right. The thing is water, the thing is juice, whatever, is not depend on the phenomena, it depends on the perception, it's change. Therefore, exists as a water, be as a juice, not depend on us. But the water has the ability to be moisture. The fire has the ability to burn. Also, is the burning and the moisture also not exist inherently. It depend on many conditions. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. I know today you can stop here. Next time we can discuss more.
Thank you, Geshe.
More question, so I can take the other question. If not, I will come back to you. Yes?
Geshe, next question. Can you take next question?
Yes, please.
The next question is, Dear Geshe, please advise of the 3 lower realms. The worst is the animal realm because animal realm lifespan is longer. This animal realm is most difficult to become liberated, while in the hell and hungry ghost realm, their lifespan are shorter and suffering is more intense, but it is more difficult to be liberated from the animal realms. Geshe, please advise.
Actually, thank you so much asking this question. Actually, it's not like that. Animal has a shorter life than the hungry ghost. The hell being has a longer life than the hungry ghost realm beings. And also, we say difficult to liberate. Let's say you can, when we look at a cow is an animal. So be as a cow, nobody can liberate. Being as a hungry ghost, nobody can liberate. Being as a hell being, even the Buddha Shakya, who all Buddhas go hell, nobody can liberate that from hell beings. First, they need to born as a human, who is a human or celestial being who has an intelligence to understand. If you give a teaching to the cow don't understand how we can liberate the cow from samsara. Hungry ghosts, even though if you give a teaching, they don't understand. They understood, but they don't have a really ability to practice. They are just totally suffering, totally suffer. They have a lot of sufferings. Therefore, whether you are a hungry ghost being, animal or hell being, everybody has a Buddha nature. When they finish their karma, then they're born as a human or celestial being. Then they can achieve Buddhahood faster because they exhaust all the negative karmas. When they get out from the animal realms, hungry ghosts, hell being realms, when they get out from them, then they have a less negative karma. Therefore, them very easy to understand, very easy to practice. Therefore, Manjushri and Avalokiteshvara has a different idea about giving teaching. Avalokiteshvara always give a teaching about compassion, bodhicitta, very general teaching. Make sure the person won't have a wrong understanding, wrong view about karma, Buddha, Bodhisattva. Manjushri has a different idea. Manjushri says, first we give a teaching about emptiness. Then somebody, due to the misunderstanding, they believe nothingness, no karma, no Buddha. They have a totally wrong view. Then they're born in the hell beings. They remain there for many years. When they get out from hell beings, then very easy to teach Dharma. Also very easy to practice Dharma because all the negative karmas exhaust. So it's not such as we say, the animal realm is the more worse. Yes, animal realm has a shorter life than the hungry ghost. Hungry ghost has a shorter life than the hell being. If you come thinking about from the life stream, it's like that. Then, if you thinking about the ability, yes, animal don't understand anything. Animal not only refer to the cow and sheep and fish, all the nagas include into animal beings. Many naga has a very intelligent, they can understand Dharma, but they don't want to practice. Because they cannot generate the renunciations. Therefore, I think you still need to study more about the three realms, the lifespan, the ability, the final how they really achieve liberation. Yes. Next question, please.
Next question says, Geshe related to entering the middle way, verses 1.11, person who seek their own welfare with enthusiasm, is this person's character self-grasping or self-cherishing?
I think it's self-cherishing, not self-grasping. I think many people have a misunderstanding, self-cherishing and self-grasping. Self-cherishing means they are thinking about their own happiness, own welfare. They cherish themselves. Self-grasping, first you need to know the self. Self means there's a lot of confusion because of the English words. Also, I think the Sanskrit, whatever. We say person, being. Also, we say I, self. I grasping, you can say I's grasping. Everybody, everybody, grasp I as an independent I. Therefore, we go, self-grasping, independent self-grasping, inherent self-grasping. Therefore, who has a strong self-cherishing, in the underline, the person definitely has a self-grasping. If somebody has a self-grasping, it doesn't mean the person must have a self-cherishing. All the Bodhisattva who has a great compassion, they have a self-grasping, not the self-cherishing. Therefore, somebody has a self-cherishing, they must have a self-grasping. Who has a self-grasping, not necessarily to have a self-cherishing. Therefore, you need to differentiate self-cherishing, self-grasping is different. Therefore, what we call self-centered attitude. Self means I. I must be centered, means I am most important. Self-centered. Also, we can use different words. We say I-centered attitude. My family-centered attitude is more easy to understand. It's an I-centered attitude. Self-centered attitude means you put always in the center, most important. So we say I-centered attitude. Self-centered attitude is a similar meaning. Therefore, when you self-grasping, self-centered attitude, selflessness, there's a lot of confusion. So we need to know what does mean self-grasping, self-centered attitude. What does mean selflessness? Selflessness. Yes, therefore it's a different. Self-cherishing and self-grasping. Next question, please.
Geshe, next question is from Sister Li Hui. Li Hui, you may go ahead.
Hello, Geshe. Hello, everyone. I would like to know if we can apply what we learned in Lamrim about giving to this text.
This text, Li Hui, can you repeat? Not so clear.
Can we apply what we learned in Lamrim about giving to this text? Although Chandrakirti time is long before Lama Tsongkhapa.
Yeah. Of course, this text is very important in order to understand the Lamrim. Particularly, I think since the 6th chapter is very much related to the wisdom chapter. Also at the beginning, the praise to the compassion is you must link with the we must link with the practice of compassion and generous compassion bodhicitta. Then 6 perfections is also give lot of logic and reasoning. So actually we say Lamrim. I said many times all the Buddha teachings, all the Buddhist books are Lamrim. It shows us the path to enlightenment. Yes, this text is definitely we must very important text to apply with the Lamrim. Also, all Lamrim, the Lamrim by Lama Tsongkhapa, also you can, apply with this textbook. Yes, definitely you can combine two together.
Another part is, can you share with us if those people, like giving to them will cause them more harm? We cannot give, right?
Can you repeat please?
If giving things to people will cause them more harm, like make them more greedy, then we should not give. We have to use some wisdom, right?
It depend on situation. Yeah, actually, somebody is somebody wants to commit suicide. The person looking a rope. You have a rope. Then the person asks you to give the rope. You also notice he going to use this for hang up. Then we should not give. Or somebody looking at a knife to kill, themselves. If they ask you to give a knife, you should not. Because it can be benefit for the person. We should not say it's harm for the person. Generally, it's harmful. But the person who are looking at a knife for cut the neck, the knife is very useful, very important for the person, right? Generally, it's harmful, but particularly those person, for him, he thinks it's useful. Therefore, when we give away, we must think, if it's short-term benefit, long-term harmful, we should not give. Short-term, it is harmful, long-term benefit, we must give. So it depends on the situation. Harmful can be short-term or long-term. Benefit for short-term and long-term is depend on the situation. Okay, next question, please. One question.
Yes, next questions from Sister Kim. I tried to unmute her, but Kim, can you speak, Kim?
Hello.
Geshe is Kim. Just.
Hello. You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Geshe, thank you so much for your teaching. Today, my question is about verse 1.12. So the verse 1.12, it says, indeed, it is through the practice of generosity that he will swiftly at some point meet the Aryas. I have two questions regarding this verse. First question is about when we say he, I presume is referring to the first ground Bodhisattva. So the first ground Bodhisattva will swiftly at some point meet the Aryas. I couldn't quite understand why he will only meet the other Aryas at some point, because he himself is already an Arya, being on the first ground. So I presume he should be able to meet the other Aryas at some point, not at some point, but immediately, you know. That's my first question. Should I go on to my next sub-question regarding the verse? Okay, I go on. So my next other question is the third line, which is he say, he will then cut clean the continuum of cyclic existence, and as a result, he will journey to the state of peace. So my question is it referring to when the verse say, he will then cut clean the continuum of the cyclic existence? Is he saying that the first ground Bodhisattva will cut clean the continuum of cyclic existence on the seventh ground? Is he referring to that? Because I think on the seventh ground is the time when the Bodhisattva is equivalent to an arhat, which means that the practitioner is will be out of samsara. Is that what it's trying to say? So these are my two questions regarding this verse. Thank you.
Oh yeah. So that means your question come from the same paragraph, right? 1.12.
112, yeah.
I think some point, I'm not sure how to translate. Yeah, that means he's not talking about the the first. He is not the person who reached to the first bhumi. First bhumi.
Oh.
There's a two kinds of person who practice generosity. One practice generosity with a sense of attachment, not knowing the emptiness of the giver, giving, and recipient. Then the result is always in the samsara. The practitioner of generosity with the knowing, the giver, gift, recipient of emptiness. Then right now, like say we are just ordinary person. So this morning you practice generosity, attachment with the three things. Then around like afternoon, you practice generosity with the knowing the emptiness of the gift, emptiness of the giver yourself, emptiness of the recipient. So you practice generosity. The second result, in the future, some point, so you will meet arhat. Then you receive the teaching, then you quickly go into the peace. Peace is referred to the Buddhahood. Yeah. Therefore, in Tibetan,
So the he in this verse is referring to ordinary beings, not referring to this ground.
Because this first two sentences, then how we can have the result of practicing generosity in the samsaric level. The next two sentences is talking about how we can have the result into the supreme maintenance. Yeah, here he's not referred to the person.
Yes.
Who yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you so much, all of you, to really attend the Sunday class. I know all of you are busy. Also, the Sunday morning is very important to be relaxed, to have a morning walking, meeting your friends. Still, you sacrifice all the important things and attend the discussion class, and particularly attend the intermediate class. I really appreciate. Thank you, and have a happy Sunday. And everybody be safe. Thank you.
Thank you,
Very much, Geshe. So, brothers and sisters, just a reminder. So next week, our Lamrim class and our Sunday class will be replaced by the revision class, Geshe, regarding the Asia teaching. Would you like to say anything about the Asia teaching topic, Geshe? Oh, Geshe?
Mm-hmm.
Hi. Yeah, next week we have the revision class.
Actually, sometimes you're asking me too much. What about, I don't know. So I will do my revision for the Asian teaching. I said many times, we are really, really, really lucky person to able to receive teaching from His Holiness Dalai Lama. I not just believing, due to a lot of reasoning, is due to a lot of logics. We really can, believe him, not living Buddha, the living Bodhisattva, who really realized emptiness. So he studied and did long time analytical meditation. He really realized emptiness. He's a living Bodhisattva. First, doesn't matter how much you are busy. So please attend his teachings. If you have no time, we just listen the audio. It's a very, very, fortunate. Just receiving teaching, just listen his voice. Also, you get a lot of positive imprint in your mind. Then, while you are attending the teaching, you just listen, and if you don't know, if you're confused, please keep a note. Then, during the revision class, I really try to clarify your doubts if I could. Number one. Number two, I know somebody going to ask question to His Holiness. When you ask the question, please speak very clearly, a very simple way. For example, you ask question Dalai Lama, hey Dalai Lama, I'm hungry. What should I do? You should not say, I'm hungry, and there's a laksa, there's a pizza, there's a this, which should I eat? Then, there's no such as time to say, I'm hungry. What should I do? Or I eat pizza since I'm sick. How I overcome my sickness? Ask the question clearly, simply. And also, I think some of you ask question, I think, who attend class in TBC. Please do not say, oh, I'm kind of student of Geshe Yonten. No need to say. Just say, oh, my name is this. This is my question. I ask questions simply and make very simple and clear. So there's two teachings. One is the 37 practice of Bodhisattva. I think second is dependent origination?
Principal aspect of the path.
The three principles of the path. Again, renunciation, bodhicitta, emptiness. So when he give teaching about emptiness, Please, really you need to focus. What does mean emptiness? How he have an experience of emptiness, and try to copy from him. Okay? So this I want to say. Then there's a